So, share with us a little bit about your family's refugee story from Cambodia.
Yeah, I am a refugee from Cambodia. I came to the United States when I was 2 years old. We were displaced because of the American War, right? Here we call it the Vietnam War, but on our end we call it the American War. Well, the Khmer Rouge, after the Vietnam War ended in 1975, the United States pulled out of Cambodia, and then the Khmer Rouge took over. When the Khmer Rouge took over between 1975 and 1979, an estimated of 1.5 million to 2 million people was murdered during the communist regime. So about a quarter of the population was murdered, famine, war, everything. It was just it was hell on earth, right? So my mom and my dad, blessed their hearts and their soul, were able to survive all 4 years of the tragedy. And we were fortunate enough to be able to escape at the end of the war. Vietnamese troops ousted the Khmer Rouge in 1979 in January. I was born 5 days afterwards. So I was born in the jungle. My mom was on her way to Thailand to the refugee camps. So, I don't have a birth certificate. And this, because not having a birth certificate, being born during a war, is still affecting me today with these policies of this current administration. But anyways, my family and I came here in 1981. We were really fortunate to have family that was already here and kind of established. So we were able to get sponsored by a Catholic church, and my family and my uncles who came before us really laid the foundation for us to create a life and set a foundation here. So I grew up on the east side of Tacoma, and largest influx of refugees in United States history with the Southeast Asian refugees in the 80s under the 1980 Refugee Act. And with such a large influx at such a one time, the United States really wasn't prepared to handle all these folks coming. So they didn't have adequate resources, adequate housing, or just didn't even know what language we spoke, right? So navigating a brand new country with nothing was extremely difficult for my family and I. And I was just really blessed to be able to kind of rise out of poverty because of the opportunities that was given to us. But saying that, the journey from being displaced from a country, from war, being uprooted from your family, coming here, not having much, growing up in the hood, being a product of your environment, a lot of my peers, a lot of my colleagues and the generation before me got into gangs, right? They got into gangs, they committed a lot of crimes, did their time. Now, 20, 30 years removed from that, they all have families, but no one ever told us that we weren't citizens. When we came here as legal residents, permanent legal residence was our status. We call them, what was it, a resident alien? Resident alien card. Did you have one of those?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Since we all have one of those cards, our assumption is that we were here legally, permanently.
Correct.
Right? The word permanent means forever. Yeah. But just like a Sharpie, there's mechanisms and systems to remove that permanency. So that's what we're seeing today with these deportation and policies. So, it's just been a crazy journey. The war ended 50 years ago, but as you can see, the impacts of war resonates till this day. So that's the story of my family. It's not a unique story to my family. A lot of similarities to, Vietnamese like yourselves, refugees, and the Hmong and the Lao community as well.